The Milwaukee Bucks are officially back. The Bucks have won 8 out of their last 9 games, improving their offensive and defensive games dramatically. Giannis has forced his way back into MVP discussions by averaging 34.5 points, 11 rebounds, 8.3 assists, while shooting 61% from the field. So the easy conclusion to make is that Giannis has carried the Bucks back to a 500 record of 10-9. And even though that's not totally false, Damian Lillard has also been a huge reason why Milwaukee are just so good right now. Since he returned from concussion, Lillard has been on a tear, giving the Bucks 26 points and 10 assists per game, with the Bucks being 6-0 in those games. When Dame's allowed to act as the #1 option on offense, he is still so good. And that game against the Heat without Giannis was a testament to that, dropping 37 points and 12 assists, making 8 out of 13 from downtown. We all know how good Dame and Giannis are on an individual level, but it's being that good as a collective that's been the hard part for this Bucks team as they try to learn a new defensive system and figure out how to play off one another. But in this stretch, they have appeared to have found that chemistry, as the duo of Dame and Giannis are not only the #1 scoring duo in the NBA right now, combining for 58.8 points per game, but they also just broke NBA history. Dame and Giannis just became the first duo in league history to have 3 games of at least 25 points and 10 assists each. This just speaks to the versatility of this duo and how they've begun to figure out just how to play alongside each other, and the eye test backs up these claims also. Part of how Doc Rivers has been using Dame and Giannis is off-ball, as last season it felt way too much like your turn, my turn basketball, leading to unproductive isolations and bad shot attempts. However, with a full off season to learn each other, Dame and Giannis have been much better when they've been off ball from each other. When it's Giannis who's off ball, he's a threat to cut back door or use the gravity of Dame to get open driving lanes. While for Lillard, when he's off ball, he can come off handoffs from Giannis or use back screens to get free. First, let's start with Dame facilitating for Giannis. As out on the break, Dame gets to the corner to free up the driving lane for Giannis, who's now open for a dunk. Now it's a similar play, as Dame uses his quick hands to poke the ball free from Jordan Poole, and he gets it back from Giannis, who continues to run his lane for another slam. Running well executed fast breaks is definitely one way to do it, but on this play it's more half court, as Bobby flashes up to give Dame space to drive, and because Vucevic has to honor that 3-point shooting off Portis, he's out of position, leaving this Bulls defender in a 1-on-2, leading to another slam for Giannis on the alley-oop pass. Now in the 2-man game, Dame makes the pocket pass to Giannis, giving him space to barrel right through the chest of Allen for the finish. Dame making drives to draw a crowd has also been a very effective way to get guys open, as here Giannis makes the 45-degree cut to then finish on the reverse. So it's been pretty obvious that Dame just makes Giannis better, and it was clear to see even last season. However, the other way round has been the concern. Last season, it felt like Giannis wasn't making Dame better, as Giannis doesn't provide any floor spacing, meaning whenever Dame got into an isolation, there was no room to drive and finish, making him more predictable. So this has been the adjustment that has looked night and day compared to last year, as Dame simply isn't looking to get into as many isolations when Giannis is sharing the floor with him, instead coming off of actions to get himself open. Here, Giannis sets up the dribble handoff for Dame coming out of the corner, and because of the attention Giannis demands on drives, Lillard gets plenty of mid-range looks like this. Now Giannis will make the drive, and if you thought Dame's gravity was crazy, you haven't seen anything yet, as all 5 Cavalier defenders collapse onto Giannis, as he then makes the no-look behind the back dime to Dame for an open 3. If this play had came from any other team in the league, you would have seen it over and over again. However, because it came from this overlooked Bucks team, this might have been the first time you've seen it. Now off another DHO, this time way up top, Dame gets so much daylight and he makes good on a pull-up triple. This action has finally started to look as dangerous as we all thought it might be, as this time the DHO leads to a 4-point play for Dame. This play was ridiculous, as the Bulls are so worried about Giannis down low, and rightfully so, that Dame gets the cleanest look he's ever seen, knocking down the long ball. Here's another play, as Giannis draws 3 Pacers defenders and sprays it back out to Dame, who's open once more. Giannis has also been doing a lot of his playmaking from the nail, as here 2 go to him him, leaving Dame a clean look once more. Here Giannis is at that nail again, and Dame comes off the DHO, getting enough room to catch in the dribble. Now back in the two-man game, Dame is able to manipulate Okoro, making him think he's actually going to use the screen, only to reject it at the last second, getting into a rhythm step back three. The way Dame and Giannis have been making each other better this season is something we hoped they were going to do last season, as it's really this team's ticket to becoming a legitimate title contender. But of course, there's more pieces to the puzzle than just Dame and Giannis. Chris Middleton is still yet to make his return, but when he does, it's almost going to make an overnight difference to this offense, as they become even better than they currently are. But out of the guys who have been playing, Brook Lopez has been a real two-way weapon, making 37% from deep on 5.6 attempts per game, while he's also averaging 1.3 steals and 2.4 blocks, which is absolutely outstanding for a guy of his age. New addition Taurean Prince is currently leading the NBA in three-point shooting percentage, making 54% from downtown on nearly 4 attempts per game, while he also just does a lot of the little things, playing solid defense, making the correct connecting pass, and of course, making timely baskets. After a slow start to the season, Gary Trent Jr. has really come into his own over this 8-1 stretch, making 51% from downtown on 5 attempts per game, while he's also been picking up 1.1 steals, giving the team a great two-way punch off the bench. AJ Green, or Derry Bird as the fans are calling him, has been absolutely outstanding off the bench, averaging 8.2 points per game, with great shooting splits of 49, 48, and 83, while he's also been giving the team surprisingly elite defense. Andre Jackson Jr. has been a great find for this team for the starting lineup, giving Milwaukee the extra athleticism and defense that they need, while he's also a pretty solid outlet passer, but if he could just give them a little bit more offensively, he'd be a staple for this team moving forward. Bobby Portis has been solid offensively, however, they still need to get Middleton back into the picture to really discover what they have. I believe with Chris Middleton back, Milwaukee's bench rotations will be even better, and for me, these would be the two rotations to watch. First would be a Giannis Middleton lineup, providing a proven pick and roll combination with Giannis at the 5, which is something Doc Rivers says he wants to test out, as it would potentially allow this Bucks team to have a quicker lineup, which could tackle the likes of the Celtics perimeter shooters and not have to play a drop coverage. With Giannis at the 5, the Bucks would be looking to get out and run on offense, trying to beat teams in transition while still having a solid backup plan for the half court with Chris Middleton. This lineup would allow Dame and Brook to rest, giving the keys to Chris and Giannis. Then the second lineup would be a Dame Brook Lopez lineup, with Giannis and Chris resting on the bench. This lineup would see Damian Lillard have the ultimate green light, and a great pick and roll option with Brook Lopez, who can both roll and shoot. This would be a more half-court centric offense, as you would also have Bobby Portis on the floor at this time, as he's able to get into his post-up actions. Milwaukee would look to slow down the game at this time, generate clean looks, and build upon a lead with Giannis off the floor. Led by Giannis, who's having an MVP season, and Damian Lillard, who's now thriving in his role, the Milwaukee Bucks could still end up being the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics out in a weak Eastern Conference. But that's just my take. What do you guys think about the Bucks? Are you buying this team or are you selling them? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments section below.